What did you have for breakfast this morning? A bowl of cereal, a fruit smoothie, maybe a little container of flavored yogurt. You thought you were taking care of yourself. You thought you were doing the right thing. But I have to tell you something, and I am saying this as a doctor, not to scare you, but because I am genuinely concerned. That breakfast you just had might be quietly adding fat to your belly every single day, and you have absolutely no idea. Johns Hopkins University followed more than 4,200 people over the age of 60 and found something that stopped me in my tracks. Nearly 73% of them were gaining belly fat, not from burgers, not from soda, but from the exact foods they were completely convinced were healthy. And here's the part that really frightens me. Belly fat at 60 is nothing like belly fat at 30. It does not just sit there making your pants feel tight. It goes deep inside your body, wrapping itself around your heart, squeezing your liver, and according to multiple studies, it is slowly and silently eating away at your brain. Memory loss, type 2 diabetes, stroke, all of it tied directly to this one type of fat. You have been trying to eat right for years, and yet the belly keeps growing. Have you ever stopped to wonder why? The answer is not that you are lazy. The answer is sitting right there on the healthy label you have been trusting every single morning. Stay with me, because in this video, I am going to show you exactly 5 foods that people over 60 need to stop eating, and the simplest way to finally get your body to start letting go of that belly fat for good. Part 1. Why belly fat after 60 is harder to lose than ever. Before we talk about food, I want you to understand something very important, and this will explain why you might be eating less, walking more, and yet your belly keeps growing. It is because your body after 60 has changed completely compared to when you were young. Think of it this way. Back then, your body was like a coal furnace that burned hot all the time. Whatever you put in, it burned right through. But now, that furnace has slowed down significantly, and it has become very selective about what it burns and what it holds on to. The main reason is hormones. When you pass 60, both men and women experience a sharp drop in key hormones. Women lose estrogen, and estrogen was what used to help the body store fat in the hips and thighs instead of the belly. When estrogen disappears, the body starts pushing all that fat to one single place, the belly. Men lose testosterone, which is what helps maintain muscle and burn calories efficiently. Less muscle means you burn fewer calories even if you are eating the exact same amount as before. And there is one more thing that very few people know about, and that is insulin. After 60, your body becomes less sensitive to insulin, meaning that whenever you eat anything with sugar or starch, your body releases more insulin than it used to, and insulin is the hormone that tells your body to store fat in your belly. That is why the same bowl of rice or the same glass of orange juice, a 30-year-old can eat it just fine, but for someone who is 60, it goes straight to belly fat. Part 2. The biggest lie about healthy eating for seniors. Now, I want to be straight with you about something that I see so many of my patients believe completely and totally wrong, and that is the idea that eating low fat is the best way to lose belly fat. It sounds logical, right? If there is too much fat in your body, just eat less fat and it goes away. But that is not how it works. This whole low-fat idea started back in the 1970s and 1980s, when nutrition experts blamed fat for causing heart disease and obesity. And from that point on, a wave of low-fat and fat-free products flooded the market. But here's what most people were never told. When food companies removed the fat from their products, they had to put something back in to keep things tasting good. And what they put in was sugar, refined starch, and additives. So you avoided the fat, but you loaded up on a lot more sugar. And as I just explained, sugar is what triggers insulin, and insulin is what stores fat in your belly. That is why so many people have followed a low-fat diet for years, and their belly never got smaller. In fact, it got bigger. A study from the Cleveland Clinic Medical Center followed more than 3,000 adults over 8 years and found that people who ate a low-fat but high-refined carbohydrate diet had a 40% higher risk of accumulating visceral fat compared to those who ate moderate amounts of natural fat. So what you actually need to avoid is not fat, it is sugar and refined carbohydrates. I know that sounds backwards, but keep watching because the next part is going to make it very clear. Part 3. 5 healthy foods that are secretly storing belly fat. All right, this is the part I know many of you have been waiting for. And I want to say up front that the things I am about to mention are not junk food or fast food. These are things you are buying at the grocery store, putting on your table every single day, and genuinely believing they are good for you. Number one is packaged fruit juice and fruit smoothies. You wake up in the morning, pour yourself a glass of fresh squeezed orange juice or blend up a smoothie, and you feel like you are taking really good care of your health. But here is the truth. One 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains around 26 grams of sugar, which is the equivalent of 6 teaspoons of sugar. The problem is not the type of sugar. The problem is that when you drink orange juice, instead of eating a whole orange, you have completely removed the fiber. Fiber is what slows down the absorption of sugar into your blood. Without fiber, the sugar from orange juice hits your bloodstream almost instantly. Your blood sugar spikes, insulin floods in, and your body starts storing fat. So it is not that you cannot have fruit. Go ahead and eat the whole fruit. Just drop the habit of drinking juice. Number two is whole grain and low sugar breakfast cereal. You look at the box and you see heart healthy, whole grain, reduced sugar, and you think you are making the right choice. But flip the box over and read the ingredients. Most breakfast cereals, no matter how healthy the label sounds, have a very high glycemic index. That means they spike your blood sugar almost as fast as drinking a can of soda. And when you are 60 with a body that is already less responsive to insulin, this hits even harder. The whole grain brand sounds good in theory, but after going through industrial processing, what you are actually eating has almost none of its real nutritional value left. Starting your day with breakfast cereal means you are starting your day with a blood sugar roller coaster. And that roller coaster makes you hungrier, sooner, crave sweets more, and store more fat for the rest of the day. Number three is flavored fruit yogurt. Yogurt is genuinely a great food. I will not argue with that. But the flavored fruit yogurt sold ready-made at the grocery store is a completely different story. A typical 6-ounce strawberry flavored yogurt contains anywhere from 20 to 28 grams of added sugar. They add sugar to balance out the natural sourness of yogurt and make it taste better. And those beneficial bacteria you have heard so much about, they are often no longer present in large quantities or no longer active after long processing and shelf storage. What you should be looking for is plain Greek yogurt, the original kind, no added sugar. Then you can toss in a few fresh berries yourself if you want a little sweetness. That is what a truly healthy breakfast actually looks like. Number four is whole wheat bread and multigrain bread. When I say this, a lot of my patients look at me with a very skeptical look. But let me explain. Whole wheat bread is better than white bread. That is true, but that does not mean it is good for your belly fat goal after 60. The thing is, whether it is whole wheat or white, it is still starch, and starch is still going to be converted into sugar by your body. And most breads sold at the grocery store, even if the label says whole wheat or multigrain, still have added sugar, vegetable oil, and preservatives to extend the shelf life and improve the taste. If you eat 2 slices of bread in the morning along with a glass of orange juice, you have just loaded your body with enough starch and sugar to keep your insulin elevated for several hours. Number 5 is protein bars and so-called healthy snack bars. These have become very popular over the past few years, especially among older adults who want a snack that still gives them some protein. But flip it over and read the ingredients, and you will find brown rice syrup, honey, cane sugar, or coconut sugar. No matter what name they use, it is still sugar, and your body handles all of them the exact same way. Many popular protein bars contain between 20 and 30 grams of sugar per bar, which is close to what you get in a can of Coca-Cola. On top of that, many of them use refined vegetable oils to create that soft, chewy texture, and those oils promote inflammation in the body and make insulin resistance worse. If you need a snack, a small handful of almonds or a little bit of cheddar cheese is a much better choice. Part 4. The hidden damage belly fat does after 60. I know a lot of people think belly fat is just a cosmetic issue, that it only makes your clothes feel tighter and does not look great. But I need you to understand that the fat that builds up in your belly after 60 is not ordinary fat. This is what doctors call visceral fat, meaning it sits deep inside your abdomen, wrapping itself around your organs, your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas, and your intestines. And visceral fat does not just sit there quietly. It constantly releases inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream. You can think of it like a small factory sitting right inside your belly, running 24 hours a day, producing things that damage your heart, your liver, your blood vessels, and your brain. A study from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health that followed more than 6,000 adults aged 55 and older found that people with high visceral fat had a 58% higher risk of cardiovascular disease a 65% higher risk of type 2 diabetes, and nearly 3 times the risk of memory decline and dementia compared to people the same age with less visceral fat. 3 times. You heard that right. And what makes it even more concerning is that visceral fat is not always visible from the outside. Some people do not look particularly overweight but still have a dangerous amount of visceral fat inside, especially older adults who have lost muscle mass over the years. So do not let a belly that looks somewhat acceptable fool you into thinking everything is fine. Part 5. The simple diet fix that stops belly fat gain. The good news is, you do not need to starve yourself. You do not need to torture yourself with some miserable diet, and you definitely do not need to give up everything you love eating. What you actually need to do is simpler than you think. It just requires shifting the way you look at your meals a little bit. The core principle is to reduce the things that spike your blood sugar and increase the things that keep your blood sugar steady. Because when blood sugar is stable, insulin stays low, and when insulin is low, your body no longer has the signal to store fat in your belly. Specifically, start by building every meal around protein. Eggs, salmon, chicken, cheese, firm tofu, these are all great options. Protein not only keeps you full longer, but also helps maintain your muscle mass. And muscle is what helps your body burn calories even when you are just sitting and resting. People over 60 actually need more protein, not less, and that is something most people do not realize. Next, add good fats to your meals. Avocado, olive oil, walnuts, almonds, fatty fish like salmon and mackerel. These are the kinds of fats that help your body manage inflammation, support your brain, and importantly, they do not trigger insulin the way starch and sugar do. And do not be afraid they will make you gain weight, because as I explained, fat is not what stores fat in your belly. Sugar and refined carbohydrates are what do that. For vegetables, feel free to eat as much as you want of anything that grows above the ground: broccoli, spinach, cucumber, lettuce, bell peppers, tomatoes. All of these are wonderful. They are loaded with fiber to help control blood sugar and packed with vitamins and minerals that the aging body needs. Be more careful with starchy vegetables like white potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, and peas. They are not completely off the table, but eat them in moderation and always pair them with protein and fat to slow down sugar absorption. And one small change that makes a big difference is drinking plain water or unsweetened tea instead of fruit, juice, soda, or even the healthy drinks sold in bottles. A lot of people do not realize that beverages are one of the biggest hidden sources of sugar in their diet. Just changing what you drink is something many of my patients have done, and they saw a clear difference in just a few weeks. Belly fat after 60 is not a fate you are stuck with, and you absolutely have the power to take control of it through the right daily food choices, whether you start today or tomorrow. Your body is still listening, it is still responding, and when you give it the right fuel, it will work for you instead of against you. You do not have to be perfect, you just have to start. If today's video was helpful to you, please share it with your children, your siblings, or your friends who are around the same age, because this might be exactly what they need to avoid some serious health problems down the road. And if you want YouTube to keep recommending honest and practical health videos like this one to more people, go ahead and hit the like button for me. Every single click you make truly makes a difference. Subscribe so we can meet again at the next piece of advice, because I still have so much I want to share with you. See you next time, and please take good care of yourself.